Welcome to Truck and Travel. I'm Derek.
I'm Cinnamon.
And this video is sponsored by Hyfield. If you're interested in doing what we do and driving one of these trucks for a living, reach out to Hyfield Trucking at the link and phone number in the video description. Let them know Truck and Travel sent you. Come on. All right, guys, remember, if you want to be more successful than us, use the mentorship that Hyfield provides. You'll be more successful. We didn't have that advantage. I wish we did. Now you can see how we did and how you could be more better than us. More better? Better than?
Better. Just better than us.
You could be great, okay? This load picks up on Tuesday and drops on Wednesday. This load is picking up from Brooks, Kentucky, and it's going down and over to Memphis, Tennessee. All right, Cinnamon, go ahead and tell us about this load.
So this load is a small load. It's 3 pallets, and all 3 of those pallets weighed together is 250 whopping pounds of freight. It is a temperature load, so the set point is actually 5 Celsius. If you're looking at or wanting to know what that is in Fahrenheit, it's actually 41 degrees Fahrenheit, so a cooler load. Derek, what kind of miles are we looking at for this load?
All right, this one you're looking at 355 run miles, but if you include the deadhead, it's 729. All right, Cinnamon, go ahead and break down the pay per mile on those.
So if we're looking at just the run miles, then the pay per mile is $5.82. Yeah. If you add the deadhead into that, so then we're looking at all the miles included for this whole trip, then it makes it per mile $2.83, which is still great, still above our $2 personal goal that we had, $2 per mile goal. So $2.83 is pretty good. So this load paid $2,064.50, which actually is very good.
Yes.
It's a very small load.
I like how this went out, and you'll see that Tennessee, Kentucky, and Ohio seems to be like a, kind of like a
where
favorite.
We like to go.
Yeah, our hangout. Yeah. All right, this next load picks up the same day the previous load drops off, and it's picking up in Marietta, Georgia, and it's going all the way down to Jupiter, Florida, which isn't a long run, Georgia to Florida. All right, Cinnamon, go ahead and tell us about this load.
I can't. I can't tell you how my weight or how much weight it is, how many pieces, if it's the temperature, because this load got canceled. Dun, dun, dun. But Derek can tell us about how many miles we went. How many miles did we go?
We did go 301 miles because we were on our way to pick it up and then it canceled on the way. Yeah.
They did pay us some money for our little travel, which was $671.06. So that's pretty good for a canceled load.
For a cancellation,
usually it's around 200 some, so I wonder how.
I don't know how they figure it out.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because we went 301 miles, then times it by 2, or was it? I don't know, it just depends on the person that you're shipping to or picking up from too.
Yeah, it might depend on that.
I've talked to a dispatch before it does.
Some kind of witchcraft in there.
Yeah, they have a formula. I don't know about witchcraft, but
the doodabs, they hitting on that computer device. I don't know what happens if they throw it against the wall and it comes up with some dollar amount. It's mysterious.
Yep.
My dad has a go too. My dad has diabetes.
All right, we got one more load. It's the last load of the week. It picks up on Thursday, drops on Friday. It is picking up in South Haven, Mississippi, and it's going all the way over to Stamford, Connecticut.
Oh.
All right, Cinnamon, go ahead and tell us about this one.
So this only has 3 pallets. So all 3 pallets together is 1,401 pounds. It is a temperature load, so the set point in Celsius is 21 degrees, and Fahrenheit it's 70 degrees. So it's a warmer load, so which is nice.
Yeah.
Derek, what kind of miles are we looking at?
All right, so the run miles is 1,157 miles. It's a long one.
Yeah.
All right, but if you add deadhead, it's 1,448 miles. All right, Cinnamon, give them the rundown to see what the pay per mile is.
So if you're just looking at the run miles, then the pay per mile is $2.40. If you add in the deadhead to that and the to the run miles, then all miles, it takes it down to $1.92, which is below our $2 per mile, but we look at all the loads lined up together in a week to see if it still makes sense and still makes that average still where we want it. So the pay for this load was $2,780.46.
Yep, pretty good. I really like this. And fun fact, after the previous load, the second load of this week, because this is load number 3 for this week. So in between there, after the other one canceled, we got this one. I was on my way over to Mississippi. It was while Cinnamon was sleeping. I thought that this scale house was like no more because the digital sign was like off, not working. And then, so I drove by it. Seconds later, some lights lit up behind me and I got pulled over. I think it was on a state route in Mississippi.
Yep.
And talked to a state trooper, said hi, and asked me to do a U-turn, you know, in the intermediate and come back around to the scale house. And
So you got pulled in and they checked you out.
He had me park and all that. And he asked why I skipped the scale house, and I told him that I thought it was closed because the digital sign was off. He said, well, there's another sign that has a manual sign that said open, and I missed that. I apologized to him for that. He was very nice.
That's good. That's always good.
Yeah, he said that he's given me a warning. Very nice guy. He said he could have gave me a fine, and I think the fine would have been like $10,000, right?
Shoot.
That's what I'm thinking.
I don't remember. All I
That
remember
stuck
is
in
I
my
could
mind.
hear that I felt a stop.
Oh, man.
And then I could hear you talking to someone. I'm like, oh no, what is it? I was just thinking, is somebody asking for money or?
Yeah. Super nice guy. He said he gets people running that scale house a lot, but never FedEx. And yeah. Thank the good Lord above, things went well with that.
Yeah.
All right, Cinnamon, go ahead and give them the total amount for the week and tell them how we did.
Okay, so for this week, if we're looking at all the pay, all the miles and everything, the pay for all the loads that we did this week, even the canceled one, is $5,516.02. The amount of miles that we did was 2,478, and so the pay per all miles makes it $2.23.
That's pretty good.
Which is above our
above our goal.
Our personal goal. So
and yeah, we're content
good week
with,
in our books.
Yeah, we're content with stuff above $5,000 a week. And just so you know, people want to know, do you get that amount of money? No, this is what grosses to the truck. We say that because people do stuff differently with different fleet owners and all that. Mm-hmm. What we got was 40% after the fuel surcharge. And so if you want to know, to figure out the fuel surcharge, a guesstimate is taking the amount that gross to the truck, times it by 0.38, and that's roughly what got paid to us before taxes. So to give you a rough idea. All right, guys. Cinnamon, why don't you give them the rundown of our career so far after week 9?
Okay. So up until this point, we're gonna go over the miles, the pay, and all that. So if you're looking at all the miles that we've done up to this point, the pay per mile ends up being $2.14, which is good for us.
It's great.
The total amount of miles that we've traveled so far have been 22,484 miles. The total amount of pallets or pieces that we have delivered have been 64. The total freight that we've done has been 28,367 pounds. The amount of loads that we've done has been 27. The average weight per load has been 1,050 pounds. The average mile per week that we've traveled has been 2,498 miles. So that makes the average per week that we brought to the truck.
The pay.
Pay per week has been around $5,357.37. So up until this point, looking at all 9 weeks combined, to the truck we've grossed $48,216.34. Now I know that some teams, especially ones who have a mentorship, unlike us, have, bring in that a lot sooner than 9 weeks.
Yep.
So
they have a bigger success than we do.
There's a lot of factors that go into it, what kind of loads you're going to take, how long you're going to stay out, if you have a mentorship, if you know what you're doing. It's
more ideal to stay out for 3 weeks at a time minimum, and some people do 3 months, everybody's different. You really got to love this. It's not easy, being out on the road all the time and in the truck, living in there, but you gotta love it. It really does help out.
Yeah.
And if you love it, you're gonna produce more money.
Yep.
Yeah, if we would have stayed out longer, I think the previous weeks we could have done better, maybe, you know?
Yep, because we wouldn't have, you know, some of those deadhead
dead
miles, you know, so, yeah.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for riding along with us. We appreciate you following our journey and seeing how we did money-wise throughout the weeks. And we're hoping that this helps somebody out by giving them an insight of how much money they could possibly make. We weren't the worst team, we weren't the greatest team. We were somewhere in the middle somewhere, or maybe even slightly below. Because we've heard of a lot of good teams, especially at Hyfield. Their averages, Hyfield's average teams, and they got like, I don't know, a bazillion trucks, like 100 or something like that. And their averages were higher than ours. So that's why we highly recommend them.
Yep.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for riding along. God bless you guys, and we'll see you next time.
Bye. On to the next one.
On to the next one.
Watch, the cats are gonna go crazy because they think I'm getting their food, which they've already been fed. They're not starving. I'm just restocking. No, it's definitely not feeding time. No, no. Not even your cute little paws will make me feed you. Already been fed. Come on, get. Get. Oh, get.